IKE BRYAN, and this is Let's Talk 360p.
Our next guest is an amazing wife and mother. Very, very successful and influential too. Still, fitness is 100. Motherhood is demanding, right? At least that's what I thought. Well, let's see how she manages to combine these three.
Thank you for having me. My name is Ike, Mrs. Ike Uzamaka. I'm a career woman, an environmental expert, and a mother of 3 lovely children.
Aww.
I'm married to Mr. Austin Ike. I've actually, after my NYC, I got a job with an oil and gas, NIPCO to be precise. I worked there as a liaison officer. You know what that means. I did that for a very long time, and not just that, at a point I became the operations manager, which was really very tasking. Along the line, I got another job offer with NNPC Retail, a subsidiary of NNPC, to be a supply analyst, and then I hurriedly took the offer, and we are still doing the business up till now at the same time. Yes. It can really be hectic. You know why? You can imagine getting married and you need to attend to your husband's needs. You know, you're trying to impress him. You're trying to play that role of, an African wife, trying to be your best and all. And at the same time, your job is also there waiting for you. And of course, in your job area, you would want to, you want to give your best to your boss and the organization at large. So combining the two is really not easy. Parenting, of course, if it could be hectic while just a wife, it's definitely you expect it to be more hectic. Having not just 1, 2, but 3 children. Of course, you expect lots of shouting, lots of, scolding, and so many things. You're attending to the children and also to the job, and of course, you can see one of the headache I'm just talking about. So when you combine all these things together, of course, that's what makes you a mother. There's a particular grace God has given to us to manage all these things, no matter how difficult it is. So combining it with the work can be hectic. I must be sincere with you. But again, if you have this structure, like if you're intentional about what you are doing, then of course you wouldn't have much challenges here. Yes, of course, it's very possible. Take for example, there was a time my boss gave me a serious project. I needed to deliver this project like within. He gave me, let's say, like 2 to 3 weeks, and of course it was something that was really urgent. So you can't expect me within that time to still have time for picnic, or even my husband telling me come and do this and that. No. Of course, I would definitely pay attention to the job, because that's where we get the livelihood. Of course, for me, I would want to keep the job, and then after that, then I can now attend to family, social life, which is the picnic, the picnic is also part of it, and so many other things.
Yeah, but then does this now mean that the job has to come before the family? My family
first.
Oh, okay.
My family first, of course. Trust me, I don't take that for granted. I take my family. In fact, my family is everything to me. So, but then I don't still allow it to, affect my job. I don't let it come across my, performance in the job. So I try to manage and combine the two effectively, in such a way that it doesn't affect any of them, or none of them suffers.
Okay. So
taking care of your children, to me, is the key, is ultimate to me. And now most times when you're not at home and you leave these children with somebody else, a stranger, total stranger, you won't even be relaxed in your place of work. That's the truth. It's a very difficult thing for mothers the working class mothers. Because most times when you're at work, you are either thinking of this or thinking of that. Like how to, for sometimes you can be at work and somebody will call you, oh, my baby's running temperature, this, that. And these are the things that you would have avoided. Yes. If you were to be the one taking care of them directly. So to me, it's one of the basic difficulty, okay? So that's why you find that some fathers who ask the wives to stay back home and take care of these kids. It's not like the old people there can't stay, but you will give a better and adequate, care to these children. So that's why that's what I think the difficulty for me. I don't know for other mothers.
Okay.
That's basically, yeah.
Okay, so does it mean that there are no daycares that are capable of handling kids?
There are daycares that are very capable of handling the kids, but what about the infection part? I mean, we're talking about different kids coming together.
Yeah.
You don't even know what this child is having. You don't know, because trust me, they will always want to, children will always be children. They want to exchange their spoons, the cutleries, and even the aunties or the caregivers would want to, sometimes they can mistakenly, use what belongs to this child for the other one. So somehow, definitely that infection and so many other complications might set in. So I feel, of course, it's very challenging. You have to be disciplined, one. You have to be really intentional, like I said before, about it. This is what I intend doing from so time to so time. And it has to come from the inside. When you decide, that is just it. Every other thing falls into place. So that's how, I manage the whole thing. Exercising, parenting, so many things put together is because I have actually worked on my time, myself, and structure. And of course, there are other factors, but I would still say working out is very good. Why? Because number one, your internal organs you have to consider all that. People think is when I appear slim, that means I don't even need the working out. No, most times you see some people very slim, but they are still, they still have some health challenges. When you check their hearts, is not beating well. The kidneys are not functioning well, and then doctors say, well, madam, are you exercising? So it's very, very imperative that we take exercise very seriously. The alternative to me for those mothers that will hardly find that time, because the truth is some of them are bankers, some of them come back home very late, they leave the house as early as 5:36. So I feel they should do or engage in portion control. When you're eating your food, you shouldn't take excessive food. Carbs, cut it off completely. Early morning, you wake up, no matter how little the time is, just try and do one or two things. And then when you get back home, once it's 6 o'clock, you can stay away from eating. That's an alternative. And then another alternative is strictly vegetables. You do more of vegetables and your fruits. Yes. Okay. So instead of doing more of the carbohydrates, you do the vegetables and fruits. And then even within the confines of your room, you can just do your skipping, and yeah, those things will help. So if you don't really have the time doing your physical activities, you can just do those ones as alternatives. Okay, as a student or a youth, of course, like you said, you're not yet married. There are some key things that you need to do. One, take your prayer life very seriously. You don't joke with that. If you're in school, the kind of friends that you're keeping is very important, because it determines how well you live in school. And then prioritizing, to me, the very basic thing is your education, your academics. You face it squarely, and that's the reason why you're in school. Once it's time for your books, it is absolutely time for your books. If it's time for party or whatever thing, it's time for party. You don't combine the party, the social thing. Maybe you're an ESCO in your church and school, and then the time for exam, when you're supposed to be studying hard, you exhaust the time studying your Bible and other things. Taking that as your priority, your major priority number one should be your book, which is the reason why you are going there. And then, of course, most importantly, you find out some young people engaging in all these relationships, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend relationship in school. To me, I feel it's not actually the time, like priority, like you said. You stay away from such for now. I'm not saying don't make friends, but make very good friends that will, you know, that will benefit you academically. And then after that, marriage comes in. Okay, and while doing that, you expose yourself to, you know, things like, you know, when you, I mean, try to, you know, make use of every opportunity your way, like engaging in some personal, I don't know how to put it. You don't have to wait for the federal government to give you a job. Whilst even studying hard, you can also check for little things you can do for yourself. Like I know a little young girl in my church, I think when she was in 300 level, she was already, I mean, sewing. She will come, she calls me sometimes, Auntie, do you have some clothes, you know, that I will make for you? And most times I give her, I pay her some money, and she's still a student. I think she's graduating very soon, and most of them are making money. So I feel that's what the advice or piece of advice I have to leave for the youth. So with all this, once it's time for marriage, it will come. Thank you very much for having me.